Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is that we're going to be explaining on to the actual reality of what happened to the girl in Scotland, specifically Dundee, Scotland. I think that's how you pronounce it. And there's more than meets the eye. It was actually worse than what we thought of what actually really happened here. So without further ado, we're going to get directly into this. So let's go. So what we have here, it says Justin Murphy says, this is a guy that is essentially attacking the little girl, right? He's attacking the little girl and saying like, "Oh, it's been a liar, etc." And that's insanity. That's not the case. What happened here? This guy's a flat out liar, and he's one of those. He's probably one of those people that should go into a third world country and then probably understand what the reality is. But he says here, "Say goodbye to my mentions, but I have to tell you all that little girl in Scotland is not carrying knives to defend against a migrant attacker. Everyone got duped. The 12-year-old girl is a gang member." Yeah, she's a gang member. Right. That's going to be refuted immensely from this guy because that's not what the mother said. The person recording her is just troubled by her huge knives. Think about it for us 1 second. I'll convince you with data, but first stop and think. Even if she is the subject of an attempted rape or whatever, are you not slightly puzzled by why she happens to be carrying an axe in her pants? No, not at all, actually. I'm not surprised at all, especially considering on how bad the grape and SAs and everything that's happening in Europe and the UK specifically. Yeah, I kind of not really surprised that we would be doing it. And by the way, we have Americans here that hold guns on themselves, and they don't do anything. So that's not surprising for Americans. Just to let you know. You really think this is a common and necessary practice adopted by young girls in Scotland because there are so many marauding migrant rapists? Yeah, because you have a massive problem here. It 8 times the amount in 24 years of the amount of rapes that have been happening. 8 times, dude. So I don't know about you, but yeah, that's probably a good reason. To be clear, everyone, including myself, is speculating because there is hardly any confirmed information at all. Well, there's a lot of information, but I bet money against the immediate outrage because and here's why. Scotland has white territorial youth gangs. They're called young teams, and they're common in poor areas. Guns are super rare, so the weapon of choice is knives, axes, machetes, etc. This is so hard for the American mind to comprehend. I don't think it is. Are you saying we don't have gangs? Because we do have gangs. We have MS-13. We have the Scripps, if you want to pronounce them, and the Bloods, etc. We're very familiar with gangs. In fact, MS-13 originated here. What are you talking about? So if you're talking about gangs, I don't know what you're talking about. And Americans, we have people that carry knives and stuff like that, and that's not banned here, unlike in your shit country. But I digress, obviously. You obviously know more about us Americans with gangs and stuff like that. Stupidity is very strong with you, apparently. When Americans think of violent gangs, they think of black men on the south side of Chicago shooting each other with guns. No. We think of them as people in gangs. And Baltimore and like Oakland and all these other places that are notorious for gangs. Chicago may have, yes, the most gangs, but we also had the mafia here about 60, 70 years ago that was running rampant within our country. That's no longer a thing, but we had those issues as well, and a lot of the mafia had to deal with it with Italian, which were specifically white people, I guess you want to say. So again, I don't know what he's going with this exactly. We've had other issues, we've had gangs and stuff like that. So this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Well, like Americans know what gangs are. They call them all in shapes and colors and sizes. So this guy's a moron. In poor areas like Dundee, Scotland, the gang problem is very young white boys and girls who carry knives. Okay. In one study, looked at 4,300 youths in Edinburgh. 30% of young people between 12 and 17 had carried a knife at least once. The age of which carrying a weapon was most common, 14. Okay, but that doesn't mean because somebody's carrying a knife, they're in part of a gang. That's asinine. That's like saying somebody that is carrying a gun is part of a gang. No, that's not true whatsoever. I know a lot of my family carry guns on them, even have a concealed carry. It does not mean they're a part of a gang. Your stupidity is high with this one. Dundee has a particularly high prevalence of knife incidents, about 144 per 100K people year. They are the very highest in the UK is the Midlands with 178 per 100K, so not far off. Men are always involved with gangs and violence within women. Okay, but at age 13 in Edinburgh, gang members were only about 57% male, so more females than you think. Knife carriers at age 16 were 70% male, so a full 30% of early teen knife carriers are girls. Okay, and Scotland doesn't like to collect racial data for this kind of stuff, but Dundee is 90% white. Yeah, probably because because your country does not like exposing the illegal migrants and the actual people that are doing it, because we know that a lot of the Muslim countries, the Muslim people are doing this, right? We know that they're the cause of this. So that's the reason why. They don't report it because they don't want to expose on who's actually doing it, because it makes them seem racist, because you guys are so offended by that. So yeah, in the absence of confirmed details, the overwhelming rational inference is that this 12-year-old white girl in Scotland is literally just a random criminal gang member. That's what they look like in Dundee, Scotland. Yeah, so this guy is a moron. What we have here is that from this guy, he's saying, I spoke with the mom with one of the girls, Maya, and got the entire story that the media is covering up and lying about. First of all, the reporting got the names of the girls mixed up. There were 3 girls who were there who were accosted and attacked by the migrants. Lola is the hero from the video. She's the one with the axe defending her sister from the migrant attackers. Ruby, Lola's older sister, who was attacked and hospitalized. Maya's best friend, who was with them, went to the call of the police after Ruby was attacked by the migrants. Here's a summary of what happened from Maya's mother. Yes, so what happened was the girls were out just walking, and the man in the picture made comments to Lola, the younger girl, calling her sexy and other sexual remarks. Then the girls started to tell this man to leave them alone and stop following them and making sexual remarks to them. Are we noticing a pattern with these individuals? These individuals are disgusting, right? We're going to do a little bit of extra reporting too, because you guys are going to end up finding out that these people are deviants. All right, after that, the man's sister, also in the picture, came around the corner and physically attacked Ruby, the older sister. She grabbed her hair, dragged her to the floor, started to punch her. Then both the man and woman were kicking her head while she was on the floor. At this point, my daughter Maya called the police, so my daughter's account after that is all a bit blurry. But that is when Lola had the weapon. She pulled them out to protect Ruby. After that, the man came back at Lola, recording her, making sure she showed the weapons to the camera and antagonizing her. Ruby was hospitalized after the attack with a severe concussion and a tennis ball-sized lump to the back of her head, as well as lots of bruises. So what ended up happening here, guys, is that these girls were attacked. The older sister was attacked by this migrant here, brutally beaten. So I don't know about you, but perhaps there's a reason why she was doing this type of attack. And it says here, this guy says here, they were just walking around with an axe and a blade. Was there some sort of game or the surroundings that are so that fled they needed weapons, or else they've been attacked and accosted by migrants in the area before? So, yeah. It seems this is a consistent thing. One of the girls was filming, right? Is the post anywhere? Did they ID the guy? No. The migrants started filming Lola, grabbed the weapons after they assaulted Ruby. The police are covering up for the migrants and only charge Lola. Yeah, so that's how despicable the police are. We have this here as well from Go to Go and Justice for Lola and Ruby. This is specifically from the mother. This is from Anastasia. While walking in the local community, Lola 12 and Ruby 13 and Maya 13 were accosted by 2 foreign nationals. The foreign nationals were directing inappropriate sexual remarks at Lola. When Lola and her sister told the migrants to leave them alone and go away, Ruby was viciously attacked by the adult female, yanked to the ground and by her hair, etc., etc. We know what that happened. This is when the foreign national decided to film the aftermath, and which went viral on social media. In the video, you can hear Lola telling the attackers to go away, etc., etc. So, yeah. Unfortunately, rather than arrest the attackers, the local police decided to arrest Lola instead. So that's what's happening here. These people, I think what needs to happen is that the UK, Europe, what have you, they just need to start going, specifically, there needs to be a revolution, because this is ridiculous. They cannot be having their children, uh, they cannot be having their children being under scrutiny like this. It's insanity. And again, if we go by this of what the actual reports, um, yeah. So again, we're gonna show the actual report. Now, we're not gonna get actual full reports of what's been going on with the children, but we can look at the marriages, and the marriages are quite simple here. So how we can set the precedent that Muslims are very attracted to children in regard, we can end up finding this very easily. So what we end up doing is that we take this when it comes down to the actual marriage here. So we have in Saudi Arabia, the legal framework surrounding child marriage has evolved in recent years. As of March of 2022, the personal status enacted through royal decree sets a minimum age of marriage at 18 for both men and women. However, there are exceptions allowing courts to authorize marriages for individuals under 18 if they have reached puberty and the marriage is deemed to provide an established benefit to the child. So, with puberty for girls often interpreted as the onset of menstruation, this loophole has drawn criticism from the human rights organizations as it potentially allows marriages of children younger than 15 with judicial approval provided certain conditions like psychosocial assessments and consent verification are met. Prior to these reforms, Saudi Arabia had no minimum legal age for marriage, and cases of girls as young as 8 or 10 being married were reported, often driven by cultural practices, poverty, or family debts. For instance, a 2011 report highlighted cases of girls like Ataga and Remea being married to much older men for dowries as high as $40,000. In 2019, the Shura Council banned marriages under 15 and required court approval for those under 18, making a step toward reform. By 2020, a de facto ban on marriages under 18 was reported, though exceptions persisted. So yeah, they're pretty wanting onto children because they have exceptions to this. And we have this even more. UNC data indicates that the child marriage rates are higher in some Muslim majority countries, but this is not unique to Islam. For example, in Bangladesh, a Muslim majority country, 59% of girls are married before 18. Before 18. And 22% before 15. That means you have around of close to 85%, give or take, of kids being married off before they're even 18, which even goes to form that we have about 10 to 15% of girls being married off at the age of 18 or older. That's insane. In Niger, 28% of girls aged 15 to 19 are married. Those rates are comparable to or lower than those in some non-Muslim majority countries like South Sudan, 52% before 18, or India, 25% before 18 across religious groups. So what you're seeing here is that Muslims are very attracted to kids. They want to have relations with kids. And the reason why this is ongoing is because this is an ongoing thing. Muslims just want to have children. We know of the Grape of Britain is a big deal where it was happening to a lot of kids. So we know the data. We have this here. So again, it's not far to conclude that Muslims are often child grabbers, and they want to have these relations with these kids, and if they can't have it in these countries, they often resort to grape. So I'm not surprised, after what we're hearing, that that's what they were attacked or accosted before, and they're beating or attacking children. So again, this is an ongoing thing in the Muslim countries, and when you import them to other countries, first world countries that don't allow this stuff, you end up having this. So again, I'm not surprised by this, but we know that the statistics are true, and this is an ongoing thing. This was a lot darker. I always thought when I read this, it was going to be one of the children being raped. I mean, the kid being beaten and having severe concussion is not good, but I practically prefer that than the child actually just being raped. All right, I'm not gonna lie. So that being said, I don't condone any of it, but there are exceptions to the rule that we would rather probably happen to a child than the latter. So again, this is a common thing with Muslims. We know this is a thing, and yeah, perhaps just don't allow these people. And the media, of course, is blaming the children and not the perpetrators. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.